I was a few years in the business, in 2013, I did 147 transactions with an assistant and then 175 in 14. And so that was with no help and just an admin. And keep in mind that, those earlier years, those were also short sales. So, a big part of that 147 number were short sales that took, 6 or 8 months to close. And so, for those watching, when you look at your business, in a lot of parts of the country right now, the real estate market's pretty strong. And, maybe the average, from list date to close is probably 60 to 90 days at most, right? And you don't have the challenges of the banks and you don't have all the paperwork. And, we were managing hundreds of short sales at a time with just myself and an assistant. And I think that, when you look at your business and you really want to try to figure out how to get to that next level, do you really have the grit that it takes to get there, right? And so for me, I just have one level, and I always have, and it's impossible for me to burn out. I just won't stop. I will outwork everyone because I just have that commitment. And the commitment's to helping others. And so it brings it back to that passion of being a teacher. And that's why I got that's why I wanted to be a teacher, is to help others and to give back. And so that's what people don't understand is when work gets tough, you have to figure out why you're actually doing it. And what you do doesn't define who you are. And so I think a lot of times I meet people and I go, hey, I'm Kris. Oh, I'm John. And everyone introduces himself as a real estate agent. I go, no, but what? No, who are you? I think too often people are oh, I'm a real estate agent. No, do you have a family? What hobbies do you like? What things do you do? What do you do on your spare time? None of that stuff is answered or communicated from most people, not even specific to real estate. And, over time, what I learned was I'm doing so much business that I'm sort of losing my identity. And because I was, doing, selling a house every 2 days is absolutely insane. And most people will never fathom any sort of numbers like that without a significant amount of support or technology to, enable that sort of production. But for me, I just couldn't do it anymore. Not mentally, but I just couldn't, I didn't have any more time. I literally ran out of time. And that's when that last year when I did 175, that's when I decided that I had to start a team. And so I started the team in January of 2015. And, the mistake that I made is I should have started a team way earlier. That was a big mistake. But I didn't have anyone in my circle at that time to advise me or any mentors that would help me create a team. I didn't even know what a team was. And, that was a little bit early for the entire team building. The big mega teams were just sort of getting started in that time period. And I had no resources to get a team started. And so I did what most people that have started a team and have a successful team do. I just started a team and failed all over the place and made all kinds of mistakes, hired the wrong people, had no process in place, just knew that I couldn't service the business that I had. And then over the years, what I've realized is doing real estate alone sucks. It's lonely, it's challenging, it's not that enjoyable. And I had always been an athlete and a team player, and I love that camaraderie. And it's being a part of an organization like Kris Lindahl Real Estate now, I'm just a super small part of it. I love the people, their families. I just sent a message this morning to one of our agents that's on a cruise, and it's just cool to watch people in your organization be able to do things that they haven't done in the past with their family and take that time and still have the support in the organization to still make an income, but also be able to enjoy life at the same time. In some of the ways that when I was really going crazy, I wasn't able to do. But I think the reason we are where we are is because of that commitment I made to doing that kind of business. And I think a lot of the teams right now are going to be exposed not long from now because they built their business on a foundation that wasn't them selling homes. It was, the lead platforms out there have made it easy to buy leads. And so, yeah, everyone can buy leads and most people can start a team buying leads. But as lead costs go up and as the real estate industry changes, most people running teams are not actual team leaders. They're not visionaries. They're not CEOs. They just happen to be an agent that bought some leads and now have some people on their team. And so as this gets super tough, because we've got multiple shifts going on right now. We've got At some point, we've got an economic shift. We've got a technology shift. We also have an industry shift. Like the offering and the way things are done, the way the consumers, contact, real estate services, all of it is changing significantly. And what I love about it is most people that are running brokerages and teams aren't actual visionaries. They're not. A lot of these tech companies and a lot of these solutions that provide lead generation have made it easy for someone just to write a check or enter a credit card and to create advertisements to bring opportunities in. But they're not focused on any leadership. They haven't invested in themselves. They can't see the future. And so what's going to happen because they didn't build the foundation of their organization on them actually building a personal business and having a large sphere of past clients and referrals, that even if everything goes to crap, they still have the rest to fall back on. And so that's the significant advantage that we have, is that, and I've watched most team leaders, they build a business after doing a couple transactions, and now their entire lead generation plan is buying leads from a platform that, by the way, these platforms are going to continue to get more and more expensive with leads, because a lot of these platforms are dependent on a third-party platform. For example, you might have a platform that's dependent on Facebook leads, or Google pay-per-click leads, or Twitter, or LinkedIn, or Snapchat, or Instagram. And as those social platforms get more intelligent, guess what? Their prices are going to go up, and their lead cost is going to go up. And now the platform that you bought the lead from, that they marked up that lead from social media, that platform is going to get more expensive, and your business is dependent on a lead source. And there is nothing in this world that I've ever seen in business that functions long-term when you're dependent on a third party, ever. Like, if your business is dependent on a third party, you're in big trouble at some point. I guarantee it. And so I've made this plan over the last 10 years to create an organization that is not dependent on anything, and that we can pivot and change things at any time and still be fine if everything goes out of whack and every single lead generation company jacks the cost of their platforms through the roof. We don't need any of them, because we've created a brand and we've created a marketing, really a marketing solution where we control our destiny, which is significantly different than most organizations that are buying leads.